Hey, what's good, guys? Today I have two very interesting stories that both involve vegan topics. And the first one is similar to one I've talked about previously about a barbecue, but this one's even more in favor of the original poster, in my opinion, because they're talking about how for 10 years they've traditionally hosted what they call a Meatstravaganza or something like that, a barbecue event where they cook a lot of meat, like pretty much primarily meat with a few like toppings and stuff like that. And this time, this guy's sister wants to bring her new boyfriend, who is vegan, along for the ride. I don't know why you would want to bring a vegan to a meat extravaganza. Like, to them, I'm pretty sure they just see that as a cemetery. But regardless, that's what she wants to do. And it's, of course, going to drum up some serious controversy. The second story is something that I can personally relate to. Not the vegan part, but there's a second aspect of it that actually is very relevant to me and my life. So we're going to talk about that one later, but let's start with this one. Am I the asshole for refusing to adapt my annual barbecue for my sister's vegan boyfriend? Let me set the scene. Every summer, I throw what my friends and family have lovingly dubbed the Meatstravaganza, a barbecue bash celebrating all things meat. It's an event everyone looks forward to, except vegans, of course, complete with a trophy for the best homemade barbecue sauce and a brisket cook-off. This year's curveball, my sister has a new boyfriend who is vegan. When she asked if he could come, I was totally fine with it. More the merrier. But then, she dropped that she expected me to provide vegan options for him. I'm all for inclusivity, but this is a day dedicated to meat. I suggested, half-jokingly, that he could just eat the garnishes, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, off the burgers, not thinking it would be a big deal. Bruh, inviting a vegan to a meat extravaganza, it's like inviting like an evangelical Christian to a Satanist cult meeting. I don't think that's really a good idea. Are you sure your boyfriend even wants to come? Because I think if they're actually truly vegan, I don't think they want to be surrounded by the corpses of dead animals. Seems very counterintuitive. I mean, why would you do this to them? Anyway, let's continue. My sister got really upset and said that it was rude to invite someone not catered to their needs. I don't think your brother invited them. I argue that the theme of this event has been the same for over 10 years and everyone knows what it's about. Plus, last-minute changes to include a full vegan menu seemed daunting and honestly, but a place for the spirit of the meat extravaganza. She accused me of being exclusionary and unsympathetic. I tried to compromise by saying her boyfriend could bring his own food and use a separate grill I'd set up just for him. She argued that segregating his food was even more insulting. Now she's threatening not to attend, and my mom thinks I'm being a jerk for not bending the rules of my barbecue. So am I the asshole for sticking to the meaty tradition of my barbecue and suggesting alternatives rather than changing the whole menu? Now there's a little bit more to this, but I do want to chime in at this point. First off, I don't think it would be insulting to give this as an option. Did she even consult with her boyfriend? Like, hey, how do you feel about this? I know it's probably a little bit intimidating to try to bring that to them because you might be concerned about how they feel about it. But the truth is, a lot of vegans, I mean, some crazy ones, but a lot of them don't want their food to be cooked in the same instruments as their vegan food. You know, they don't want their vegan food cooked in the same grill that, you know, your steak and hot dogs are being cooked on, because they consider that like a contamination, you know. Now that's not all vegans. I think that might just be some of the crazier ones, but it's possible that maybe this guy feels that way too. You really don't know. So that would actually possibly be a service to them, to give them the opportunity to make their own food on their own grill that's not being contaminated by meat. That could potentially be the best solution. So I don't know why they're hating on it so bad. This guy actually presented something that could have satisfied everybody. But we're going to continue reading before I give my verdict on the situation. She didn't take that well. Now, she's saying she might skip the event altogether. And some family members are siding with her, calling me inflexible and inhospitable. They're making me out to be the bad guy for not wanting to alter a tradition that's been set in stone for years. So Reddit. Am I the asshole to want to stick to my guns and keep my barbecue meat only, even if it means my sister and boyfriend might not attend? Edit. Wow, this really blew up. Thanks for the upvotes and comments. Everyone, it is enlightening and entertaining reading through your thoughts. Clearly this has sparked a lot of opinions on both sides. The original poster then says they'll keep us posted on how the meat extravaganza goes. They never did, but let's talk about it now. My verdict. I don't think they're the asshole. I think it's very like we're on a fine line here. I think what they suggested should have been plenty. I mean, to be fair, this is their barbecue, this is their tradition. I mean, trying to ask somebody to change their tradition to accommodate one person is a big ask. Now, if I was in their shoes, and for some reason I was obsessed with meat, I love my vegetables. I'm much more of a vegetable eating person than a meat eating person. But if I was for some reason a meathead like this, I would budge easily, honestly. I'd probably be like, yeah, sure, I'll cook them up some corn and, you know, something else to go along with it. I feel like it really wouldn't be that big of a deal for me personally, because I like including people. You know, if there's a way that I can be more inclusive for someone, then I'm always going to go out of the way to do that. That being said, I don't expect other people to do that. This is their event. They run this shit how they want to. I think there's a time and place to ask for reasonable accommodations for certain things. Like if this was a regular barbecue, where, you know, they're cooking all types of different foods for all different types of people, and they're just like, hey, I just want to make sure there's some vegan options, and, you know, I feel like it's an okay place to ask. But if they're unwilling to do it, then they're unwilling to do it, and I think that's okay. To each their own. But the fact that this is a meatstravaganza, a meat cooking event, it just does not make sense to expect them to accommodate by supplying vegan dishes. It just does not make sense. This isn't like a family gathering style event that is meant to include everyone. This is an event celebrating meat, effectively. Like, it just, there's nothing else to it. There really is nothing else to it, in my opinion. Some of you might disagree, but that's okay. Now let's move on to the second story. Am I the asshole for telling my vegan friend who doesn't drink I'm tired of catering to her choices? Now, I will preface this, it's important for you guys to know. I'm not vegan, but I do not drink. So I have somewhat of a unique personal perspective on a part of this, and we'll get to it momentarily. My 50F friend, Lauren, 46F, is a vegan who doesn't drink. That's awesome, and I have no issue with that. The problem is that she is part of a small group of friends who don't get out very often, but when we do, it always has to be limited due to Lauren's choices. We live in an era where our food choices suck to begin with, so having to go to eat where she can be satisfied is very limited. There really isn't much to do otherwise at night. In addition, she gets upset when any one of us eats something that has an obvious meat to it. For example, she doesn't say anything if we get a soup with chicken or something, but if we ordered a hamburger, she would cause drama. Then she doesn't drink, which is no big deal, but she will then send us videos on the harmful effects of alcohol if we get a drink or two with dinner. It has gotten on my nerves, to say the least. It's been a while now, so I'm done with everyone catering to her needs. I have tried inviting everyone to specific places and invite Lauren as well. Then she puts into a group chat, hey ladies, since I can't eat at X, why don't we go to Y? Then of course, the other ones decide we should go to Y instead. So far, I agree with aspects of this, right? Lauren, the friend here, you should want to go to places where she can eat. Like, if you're her friend, you should want to go to places that have vegan options so that she has something to eat. I mean, going somewhere that deliberately doesn't have vegan options is pretty shitty when you have a vegan friend. You should want to include them. However, when that vegan friend is being an ungrateful piece of shit asshole, like this, shaming you for eating meat or shaming you for drinking alcohol, like, that's where we draw the line. It's like, hey, you know, we're kind enough to accommodate you, but we're not here to be berated and belittled by you because of your fucking life choices. That's just degrading, and it's silly, and it's pathetic, and this person needs to grow the hell up and do better. She's 46 years old, and she's still shaming people for not being vegan like her. It sounds like you're on a pipeline straight to being like that vegan teacher if you don't do something soon. Let us continue. I have backed off of going out because I don't want to spend money on food that sucks. Remember, it's vegan, not vegetarian, so it's very limiting. And it's expensive. Oh, I didn't realize that they were going to strictly vegan. Are you telling me you can't just go to a place that serves vegan food as well as other food? Like, come on. There has to be places you can go that has stuff that doesn't have animal products in it and then also has animal. Like, come on. There's no way. And is very expensive, or have my intelligence questioned by sending shit about the effects of alcohol as if we are not beyond old enough to know or Google it. I barely drink anyway, but enjoy a glass or two every so often. She asked why I keep bailing, so I told her I respect your choices, but by the very nature of them, they have limited mine. Being that I don't have the ability to go out often nor unlimited funds, I'm only going to go when I know the entire experience will be what I want. So if I'm in the mood for a steak and a vodka tonic, I want to have them in a relaxed atmosphere, and that obviously bugs you. If I'm in the mood for a salad and water, I will gladly join you, or we can just hang out at the beach when we have time during the day. She didn't like that too much. She said this isn't what friendship is about, and I should enjoy the company enough to care. I told her that I understand and I would gladly hang out with her when food or drink isn't in question because it's too expensive not to enjoy it. She said there is nothing else to do around here. Then I asked if it's just about friends and maybe she can eat first and join us out sometime, and other times we can go to where she wants. She then told me that she's not going to sit around watching people eat meat. I said, okay, I get it, and you need to get that I'm not catering to your needs each time I'm free to hang out. I later got a text from a mutual friend that Lauren was upset, but she agreed with me because she was tired of the same shit. Of course, this friend doesn't like conflicts, so just listen to Lauren. So am I the asshole for not wanting to continue to eat food I don't like or refrain from having a drink or two to keep the peace here? Or am I right in feeling like she's being selfish, expecting the rest of us to do what she's comfortable with each time? No, I don't think you're an asshole at all. I think this is totally reasonable and should be expected. You know, as a vegan, stop expecting your friends and family and stuff to always want to cater to you, especially when they are willing to go to places that have options for you, but then you want to treat them like shit because they're not like-minded like you. They don't see animal products the same way you do. They don't see a restaurant that serves meat as a cemetery like you do. That's where the problem comes into play. And that's where people diverge so much from vegans and why vegans themselves tend to isolate themselves so much from everyone else because, well, I can't bear to see you eat meat. You know, I can't be in the same places people eating meat. And it's like, well, guess what? 99% of people eat fucking meat. So deal with it. Grow up and deal with it. Just because you've decided you don't want to contribute to that doesn't mean that the other people around you have to. You are living in the world where eating meat is a huge part of your reality. And if you're unwilling to accept it, then guess what? You're not gonna be able to do the things that you want to with your friends. Your friends want to do things that's going to include these things. I mean, for me, I don't drink alcohol, right? That's something I said I was gonna talk about a little bit. My wife drinks alcohol socially, extremely rarely, but usually if she's with me, just out of respect for me, because she knows I don't particularly like alcohol or people consuming alcohol in general, and she'll choose not to from her own free will. Not because I'm like, hey, you can't drink. I've never said that, nor do I have an expectation for her not to. She is her full autonomous person. She can do what the fuck she wants. Because she loves me and doesn't give that much of a fuck about alcohol, she tends to choose not to. Like, I've gone to many weddings and other events where there's a lot of people drinking alcohol and it doesn't bother me. I don't go up to people and be like, oh, you shouldn't drink that because I don't like it. Like, it's a maturity thing. If you're acting this way and you're willing to sacrifice your friendships and your relationships because of how you feel about what they're putting in their body, you have a lot of maturing to do. You need to grow up. Actually, no, I just realized I can relate to the vegan part too, because I had a friend who I was visiting I think like 2 years ago, something like that, who's vegan, and I actually didn't know he was vegan prior to this, and he was recommending vegan restaurants, and then it clicked with me. I was like, oh, are you vegan? And he said yes. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. We'll just go to a vegan restaurant. But they were like, no, we can go anywhere that, you know, as long, like, I'll be able to find food wherever we go. It's not a big deal. And I was like, no, we'll go to a vegan restaurant. Like, I wanted to accommodate them, and I wanted to make sure that they were comfortable eating wherever it was that we're gonna go. But this guy, super nice, not a pushy asshole, and he would have been perfectly fine eating at a place where I was eating chicken or my wife was eating chicken or something like that, and would have not complained about it, would have been perfectly all right with it. But I still wanted to accommodate them and actually go to a vegan restaurant, especially since I eat mostly, my wife and I both eat mostly plants and shit anyway. But unfortunately, the person being spoken about, Lauren or whatever, doesn't think the same way they do. They haven't grasped that level of maturity yet. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and if you did enjoy this video, feel free to like the subscribe button. Until next time.